Hi Danielle, thank you for spending some time with me to do this interview. So beforehand, I need to read this consent script. So today is October 29th, 2018. My name is Kyle Martorell and I'm a student in the Bachelor of Arts program with College for America at SNHU. And I'm conducting this interview as a part of an academic work. I will record this interview to use the information in an article I am writing about a research project. The article and the recording interview will be submitted to College for America so that my work can be evaluated from the interviewer/writer. This recording will be used solely for this purpose. The interview information will be temporarily stored in College for America online evaluation system to which only the evaluator and College for America have access. Do you have any questions?
No.
Okay. Do you give the consent to be involved and recorded? If yes, go ahead and say yes and then read this last sentence here.
Yes, I, Danielle Martorello, give my informed consent to participate in this interview to be recorded and used as a part of the student's academic
Evaluation.
evaluation.
Okay, so we're going to go over a couple questions here. So, do you feel that your age group relies on their smartphone too much?
Yes, I do.
And why do you feel that?
Because it's become an addiction for one, and because we've kind of become into this maybe self-absorbed persona, is that we get likes, we get comments, that it's our instant gratification of being popular.
Okay.
So it's more of that addiction to keep getting likes and comments on pictures.
Okay, so do you remember the original telephone? And if so, how does that differ from the smartphone?
Growing up, we just had a normal phone that you just dialed numbers on, and then when I got my first cell phone, it was literally just a cell phone for calling and texting and taking really bad pictures because it wasn't that good of quality.
And so what is the main difference between that and a smartphone, you would say?
I think the difference is you were charged if you went on the internet, so it was known that you weren't supposed to go on the internet and it was a bad thing, and mostly the phone was just for calling and texting in emergencies, and if you wanted to use the internet, you had to use a computer.
Nice. So with that, do you have a smartphone, and if you do, what do you use it for? Like bills, games, research, news, weather? What do you typically use your phone for? Social media?
Yeah, I use it for everything. My smartphone is attached to me, which is sad to say, but I use it to pay bills, use it to look at email, I use it to research the weather, news, social media, Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, all of those. So I don't even use my computer as I would for those applications.
Okay. So with that being said, do you feel in your age group that people are addicted to their smartphones?
Yeah, I think it's gotten a lot worse in the last 5 or 6 years, that you go out to restaurants or any kind of events and everyone's on their phone, whether that be taking pictures or just sitting at the table looking at their phone.
Like surfing on the
Surfing on the internet, or maybe sharing pictures on Instagram or Facebook and looking to get, those likes or comments.
Right. So how often are you on your smartphone a day?
I mean, Monday through Friday, it can range from maybe 4 to 6 hours, depending on, how my day is at work. Mostly it's when I get home, which should be the opposite, if anything. And then on weekends, might be a little bit more than that.
Okay. So do you feel that it takes over your life? That you said 4 to 6 hours. I mean, that's not a huge amount of time, but would you say that it consumes your life a bit?
Yeah, I feel like there's that, oh my God, I gotta check on Facebook or Instagram feeling, or if I don't post something in a while, like, am I gonna lose followers, or, whatever else could be the issue that I'm feeling at that time. But I do also go, okay, it's been enough time, I need to be, paying attention to either my husband or my child or the dogs or anything like that. So I think we get so focused on it that it does take over our lives.
Well, you want your kids to have a smartphone, and why?
I mean, they're not going to go back to the old phones where it was just mostly for calling and texting in emergencies. So I do feel it is kind of a security thing too, especially with those apps where you can find my child or watch my child, however apps are now for those. So I think it would be beneficial in that aspect of things, but I mean, it does scare me that when she does have a cell phone, the cyberbullying, how she's might get addicted to it too, or not being safe when she's driving. So I believe in that time period maybe smartphones will be different to where because I know now they're starting to put locks on them where you only have a certain amount of time that you get to use the phone, and so that could be beneficial. But I would say we would have to give her a cell phone just because it's going to be that normal thing at school.
And what age do you think that should be done, going into this age of addiction of their cell phones? We hear that kids are, getting them at like 6 and 7. Is that acceptable to you? What's your thoughts on at what age and the scare of addiction at that age?
I don't think she should have it that young. I mean, I think the way we can do it is just say, look, I didn't get a cell phone until I started driving. If she wants one of our old phones to just have to play games every once in a while, but she definitely won't be having one at first school, especially since she'll be so close to school. I mean, maybe we figure out just a phone that doesn't have internet on it so she can just call or text us to say, hey mom, can you pick me up? I'm not feeling well, but not giving her the full force of using that phone for that reason. And then I think as she gets older and matures more, before she starts driving, she gets a full phone,
like
a smartphone, but maybe we put restrictions on there that there's that do not disturb. So when she's driving, of course, Bluetooth will probably be more advanced at that point, that it does not allow her to text or she can text and call as in, hey, if someone texts her, sorry, I'm driving, I'll text you when I get to my destination, but not trusting her that she's not going to pull over and use as an excuse like, oh, I'm not texting while I'm driving, but she's pulled over not in a safe area.
Sure. Okay. So would you categorize a smartphone as an addiction, and who are the ones that tend to have this issue?
I think, yeah, it's an addiction. I think it's everyone, whether that be from, little kids to adults. I think the older generations are mostly using Facebook to check in every once in a while, but they're not doing what we do where we're on our phones constantly, and that's how we have our communication. So I think we need to, kind of look around more, and I think if maybe when they see other age groups out that are not on their phones, that they'll kind of go, oh, maybe we shouldn't be on our phones too.
Yeah.
Kind of set that trend. But yeah, I do believe it's an addiction.
And who are the ones that tend to have that issue? Are they people that are older in which they don't know how to use the phone? Are they the younger kids? Are they the millennials? Who do you think that triggered person, or is it due to loneliness? I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
I think it can be in all categories, just because I think just the way technology is going is it's that instant gratification. Everyone wants to get the most likes and have the most friends, and I think the older generation isn't as worried about that. I think they look at, here's a picture of my garden, or they're not so self-absorbed in that kind of liking and posting and things like that, and they want to see maybe pictures of the grandkids if they live far away. But I think the younger generations are definitely more of the ones who are addicted.
Okay. So what would you change about the smartphone today, and why?
I mean,
if any, if you feel that it's sufficed to how it is today, then fine. But is there specifics that you would want that would help you in your day to day?
I just think that having a smartphone and it's hard to change things because, before we didn't really have this, but, you'd still go play games on the computer or on Nintendos or Xboxes. So I think in that sense, we can't really change anything. I think no matter what is with technology, it's going to be addiction, whether it's games, TV, going out to the movies. I mean, look how many people you see still on their phones when they're at the movies. And it's like, we might as well just have stayed home then. So I think the thing that's kind of changing that I've seen with like software updates, especially on our iPhones, is you can limit when you want to be on your phone, and then I think it can turn off or disable things so you can't, but then you can just manipulate that, like, oh no, I don't want to. So I think not so much changing of the smartphones, I think it's how we connect with our smartphones. Like when we get home, like how you put your keys on the hook or in a glass jar, whatever you do, that's the same thing. Maybe turn the phone on loud, and if there's an emergency, whether it be a call or a text message, look at it. But for the most part, I think we need to change about the smartphone is how we're interacting with
almost
it.
like limitations.
Yeah, like put it far away, so people are lazy and they're like, well, it's so far away, I'm not going to get up and look at it. Or when I do get up, I'll just check it and then put it down, and spending more of that quality time either watching TV or going outside. I think that would be the way we can change the smartphones.
Okay. And are you nervous or excited to see the smartphone become more robust?
I think a little bit of both. I think it's, really awesome how far we've come in technology in such a little time. It does make me nervous to see what else can happen, especially since they're already so advanced. I think the most that I use my phone for is when we're out, doing family events, is taking pictures and being able to post them. So I think in that sense that I'm excited to see how much better the quality of the cameras come. But I mean, it can go either way in that point.
Okay. Well, hey, I appreciate your time, Danielle, and I'm going to use some of this information for my paper. But again, I appreciate your time with answering these questions.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.